How you doing? My name is Alexander Wolf, CEO of Rey Media, and this is the Rey Media Show. Today we have a very special guest. She is the Managing Director of Allo Nutrition, and we're going to be discussing the highs and lows of entrepreneurship, finding your niche, and innovating in the wellness industry. Maya is the Managing Director of Allo Nutrition. Her company thrives on helping you with your busy life by curating products that enhance your everyday lifestyle in an easy and manageable way. So after months of working to perfect the formula, they are now able to offer the first protein powder that mixes seamlessly into your hot coffee. Clump-free, sugar-free, gluten-free. Although Allo was designed for hot coffee, Maya shares that customers have also been using it in other hot beverages and loving it. The idea is for you to use Allo in a way that will help make your protein intake easier. And if that's in your hot chocolate, then that's okay. Maya reminds us to make time for ourselves and do what it takes to make ourselves a little bit better. Maya, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't we just start with you telling me a little bit more about the company and how you got to the industry of, this protein coffee mix. Like, how did you find it?
Okay. Honestly, it was the dead of COVID. And if you're a Canadian, specifically in Ontario, you'll know that the dead of COVID was the dead of life. Okay. Here in Canada, everything was closed. Supplement stores, gyms, you name it. Life was just at a standstill. And that's when we were like, okay, what do we do? And we survive off of coffee. Like I like to consider myself a self-appointed coffee connoisseur. And I started playing around with protein powders because, the gyms are closed now, right? So now you have to take it upon yourself to work out. You have to take that responsibility on yourself to do things that you normally depend on other organizations or businesses to get done. And I said, okay, let's put some protein powder in coffee. It's cold, it's freezing in Canada. And it just turned into like a clumpy disaster. It was absolutely disgusting. And I tried a bunch of other protein powders and nothing would mix in. And I'm like, this can't be right. Like this can't be right. And that's when we were like, okay, looked it up on the internet. Turns out that there were 3 million people that have also tried to put protein into their hot coffee. And it's a huge thing on TikTok, and they actually coined the term profy. Okay, so protein and coffee. And all you could see is these disaster trials. Messy, they have to cool things down, the protein doesn't mix into hot, you need a blender, you need a frother, you need accessories, you make a huge mess. And I'm like, no, this is not sustainable. I have 3 kids. I don't have time for a bigger mess.
Be blending my coffee.
Exactly. Coffee is supposed to be that instant fuel, right? And I'm like, this is just a lot of work. And that's when the light bulb hit off. We have a problem. We need to solve this problem. Everybody loves coffee or tea, and it's like, how can we make that comfort beverage or that essential beverage more powerful? How can we eliminate the need for a huge protein shake, the mess, the shaker bottle? How can we combine the two worlds? And that was when we went into R&D, and the R&D process took 18 months. So it's extremely long. However, in Canada, that's just how things are. Everything just was slow paced. And we went into R&D and 18 months later, we came out with a Health Canada certified natural health product. So really, we took all the extra steps to get all the standards in place. And now we have a protein powder that mixes right into your hot coffee, clump-free. That's our guarantee. No extra frothers or any extra accessories required. You just mix it in and call it a day.
I love that. I think you hit a point that I've heard before in other chats that I've had with people trying to develop a product in the health industry in Canada, where I hear cases where in US I was up and running in a couple months, but it took a year in Canada because of the regulatory everything, right? Did you have that same feeling? Did you go to US first and then Canada, or you just waited for Canada?
Well, you have to imagine it. In the US, it's so much easier. You can get things done in a fraction of the time at a fraction of the cost, okay? But if you want to, we're Canadian and we're proudly Canadian and we love that. And obviously Toronto's our home base. we want to make something that's compliant in Canada, right? Like you want to be able to like, take a brand that you're proud to curate, and so we wanted to do it right. And the good thing about the way Americans see Canadian product is that they actually see Canadian product at a higher level because they know it's gone through X number of regulatory, X number of certifications. So when they know that a product is from Canada or it's like Canadian compliant, they don't have any questions because they know it's gone through the testing, the stability test, the shelf life, the compliancy, you name it. It's gone through every process where they feel confident. So we thought, if we're going to do it, we got to do it right. This is a premium product. It's a premium protein. If we're going to bring some innovation to life, let's make it Canadian. Let's do it right, and show the world that we can do it with the challenges that we have with COVID, regulatory, government, essential life only. We were able to overcome those challenges, but they weren't easy. Please don't understand or don't take it away that it was easy. It was not easy. Launching a new business that is a new product, a new brand at a time when everything is closed and you literally cannot get your product into people's hands physically is very hard to do.
Yeah, testing, right? Like just feedback.
Exactly.
How did you handle that? Because you have your product, you tested, maybe a couple family members or co-workers tested, but how do you, in a larger scale, how did you approach testing and getting feedback from possible clients, customers?
You said it right. We had to dip into our networks where it was like family and friends just to get those 100, 200 people for a taste panel, right? And because there was no way to go into like gyms or go into fitness studios or supplement stores. Everything was closed. And so when we launched, the original strategy was, things will settle down with COVID. We'll be able to go into the conventions and expos will be back.
Yeah.
This was we were like hopeful, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It was not fine. Everything was closed still. And so we had those challenges. And a lot of our strategy, instead of brick and mortar, became digital e-commerce based, where we had to ship our products to trusted individuals in the fitness, CPT, dietitians, and that's how we got them to try the product. So while there was no contact, we would take our product, connect with them digitally, send them our product, and then they would review it on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And that's how the message came out to the world that, hey, there's this new cool product and I'm a dietitian and I love it. And if you're looking to increase your protein, this is for you. And that messaging was 100% digital based. Then things did start opening up. Gyms started opening up. So then we were like, okay, this is a great opportunity to partner with a lot of the independent supplement stores that have been struggling through COVID. They lost business. Their inventory is now old. They're struggling. So while businesses are opening up, we reached out to a lot of independent stores and we asked them, how do you feel about us coming out and sampling? There's no cost to you. In fact, we'll bring crowds to you. Everybody loves coffee shot, let's be honest. And they were loving it. They loved the idea. They said, yeah, that'd be great. That would help us out. So we started tabling and sampling at independent supplement stores and gyms. And believe it or not, the businesses appreciated it so much because now we're bringing the crowds back to them and we're getting their business back off the ground. And they realize that the product is really interesting and really innovative and the reception is great that they started carrying the product. So now it was a real big win-win for us. And so that's how we started getting more into the in-store physical channels.
So I think you got to test a little bit of both worlds, right? The online, trying to get customer acquisition online, and then as well when we open back up, physical, testings and tastings and that kind of stuff. What do you think when you went through both? Was the positive for online and then the negative, and the positive and the negative for like in person?
I mean, everything has pros and cons, right? Like we have to, really look at things and evaluate things. Obviously, once you go brick and mortar online sampling, your costs are high. You're paying for that footprint, you're paying for that ground game, you're paying for the personnel, the samples, the product, but you're also, and this is where the pro comes in, you're engaging with the community, right? You're allowing your brand to educate other people on a physical level, right? You're letting people try your product firsthand. So while it's got its expenses, it's got its benefits, you know? On the digital side, similar challenges, very similar is, you know, you reach out to creators and dietitians, and the negative part of that is just time, right? Like it's not an instant, you know, communication. You go back and forth, you ship some product, of course there's time involved to evaluate and review, and then you see an output. So it's a longer process, but the pro is that there is a wider reach. You know, these trusted dietitians, these trusted fitness experts, their communities on the digital base, they trust them, right? And that was a big thing for us. We always tell our partners, if you don't like the product, don't endorse it. We only want you to endorse the product if you love it and if you believe in it. And that's a really big part of our mission here at Allo, is that, you know, this product is great, but it may not be for everybody. So if you love it and if this is something that you stand behind, be part of our team. You know, we're very transparent that way too. So there are pros and cons to both sides, but I do think that both digital and in-store really are hand in hand, and they're both very much required for at least a new brand and a new product into the market.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I digest it and I put it in my own words, maybe on the social media side or on the online side, you kind of need a little longer runway for that campaign or those efforts to pay out, when compared to like if you want to do cold calls or like show up at stores. Like, yes, it's time consuming, but like you might get a yes then, right? Like right then. You have to do both when you're starting out.
It's hard. And you know, we live in an age where, you know, I don't like to use the word trust issues, but like everyone has trust issues. You know, it's like how can you buy a brand new product and you know, like you don't know much about it. You haven't tried it. It's like, how can you make that commitment, right? And so then when you think of that evolution of like process, it's like, okay, this product looks great. It sounds great. It looks good on paper. The branding is phenomenal, you know, but it's like, do I go ahead and put in my credit card info or not? You know, and then it's like that struggle, right? And I have this as my own struggles when I'm a shopper, you know? And then it's like, we're able to break those barriers when they're able to try the product and be like, wow, I really like it. This is for me, I'm gonna commit. Or they have a dietitian they trust, they have a nurse they trust, they have a fitness trainer that they trust. So if he or she likes it, maybe it's gonna be for me too. You know, I trust them. So we really have to break those barriers of trust, especially in CPG as a new product. I'm sure all companies and all businesses can relate to this, is we really have to connect with the end user. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Like there's a risk to the customer, right? Because you're an untested, unheard of product. X amount of money is going to cost me. I'm going to consume and put it into my own body. Like there's a lot of risk on them. So whatever you can do to mitigate, maybe educate, maybe do something to make them feel a little less like they're jumping off the cliff to giving up for hope. I think you definitely have to do that as a company. Make it easier for a new customer to be willing to try it, right?
Exactly. And trust is a huge thing. And we're very transparent here in Allo. Everything from our ingredient labeling to the product itself. And, you know, something that we convey online as well as in store is if you're not happy with the product, if it didn't deliver what you expected, we have 100% money back guarantee, you know, because we stand by our product 100%. And so if for some reason, you know, it wasn't for you or, you know, you didn't see the value in it, we don't see a lot of these issues, but we're so confident that we want our consumers to also have confidence in our company that, okay, let me try it. There's no risk. You know, if I don't like it, you know, there's a solution. And so we always put that out there as well that, you know, try it. You know, this could change your life. This could increase your nutrition level to a whole new level. This could make your workouts better. This could be your post-workout solution. This could be the breakfast you're missing in the morning. Like there's so many ways of looking at it, but we do definitely give them a guarantee, and that does, as any shopper, you know, everyone wants a guarantee. How did you approach pricing? Because it's a new product, right? So it's kind of hard to compare. It has your own cost to it. Did you have a strategy that you took or something that you could share for other startups? And that was hard. It's a really good question. That was hard because it's like, it's a new category on its own. But then what we had to do was look at what people are paying for protein per serving as maybe like a benchmark. So if you're paying, a certain amount per serving, how much more is a consumer willing to pay for convenience and utility? And those are the two things that Allo brings to the table. Everyone's got a protein powder, right? Let's be honest. There's thousands of protein powders in the market, but how many of them mix into coffee? Hot coffee? None. How many of them are individually packaged so you can just take it on the go? So we looked at what consumers are paying on average per serving, and we were able to put our valuation in for convenience and utility. And that's where we do come in as a premium product. And we're very clear about this, but you're paying for the convenience and you're paying for the fact that you can mix it into a hot beverage. So that was kind of our pricing structure. And what happened is we initially launched with the 10 packs, right? So you get like a box of 10, okay? And everyone loved it. They're like, these are convenient. I can go to Tim Hortons or Starbucks and just, throw it into my coffee. And then we found that a lot of our users were asking for a more value-sized pack. They're like, we love it. Can you bring us a value tub that we can leave at home, right? Kind of eliminate the waste and get more for their dollar. And so while that was never our plan, we have to listen to our customers. And so we did. And so we were able to launch a tub format. So it's kind of like a go big or go home concept. Yeah. And so this did really well because now it's like for those that just leave it at home, they can just scoop it right in and they've got more bang for their buck. And it's been great. So we went ahead and launched those. And then we found that, as a new business, you learn so much in just the first couple months. There's so much data that just comes your way. And we realized that our initial goal was to launch this for hot beverages. Turns out people are putting it into oatmeal. People are baking with it. They're putting it into their cakes. They're putting, you name it, it's going in everywhere. And it's like, we didn't even realize that the creativity that comes with a food product, right? Like at the end of the day, you're your own barista, right? You're your own chef. And so it's been great to see what dietitians are doing with the products, the crazy recipes that you see, everything from dips, oatmeal, overnight oats, cereals. It's working. It's thermostable, which means that it can withstand high heat. You can bake with it, cook with it.
Okay.
So it makes it really easy for people to get that protein intake.
This next question I have, I don't know if I like it because it's about advice that you give yourself when you're starting out, now that you're on the other side of however much you've gone through, right, in the business, because I think you have to make the mistakes to learn from them, right? But what would be something that you could, that you would share with yourself if you could, when we're just like that first month, the second month when you started off?
I think there's a few things, I think as any entrepreneur or any business, there's always learning that takes place. One would be patience. I wish I had more patience. You really have to give yourself the time to analyze, evaluate, and learn. And that time and that patience, it sounds so easy, but it's so hard to practice, So that's definitely something I wish I had anticipated more of, as well as discussion. And I always tell my teams here that it's so important to discuss an idea, discuss a strategy, discuss foresight, because while it may make sense, we really need to collectively come together and see everyone's point of view on it, because there may be things we're missing, and we have made mistakes. Like any company, we're open to it, we're honest, we've made mistakes along the way, but it's like you learn from those mistakes and you realize that discussing anything and everything is so important. And it's so important to do that. And something that comes in with discussion is also kind of bravery and confidence. If you're sitting in a boardroom and you don't agree with everything that's happening, speak up. There's a reason that you're not on board with it. Don't just sit there and tailgate. Don't just sit there and follow. Speak your mind. You're there. You're valued. You're a valued part of the company. If you don't believe in something, speak out, because your thoughts will resonate different ideas, and that could change an entire strategy. So I always tell people, don't be scared. Tell us how you feel. Let's talk about it. And I think that's very important in any business, in any household, even as a family unit. You want to practice the same kind of model of speak your mind. We're all very, very educated. We're all very well versed. The internet is at the disposal of our fingers now. Like, say what's on your mind. Don't hesitate. And that's a huge thing for us here at Allo, as well as in our personal lives.
Absolutely. Some of the best ideas come with your second idea, right? After you discuss it and you go back and forth with somebody. How do you see engagement with your community on either if it's online or offline before they become a customer, then after they've become a customer? Do you have some sort of strategy on keeping them engaged with your brand?
Sure. I guess it's a bunch of different phases, right? Like, first, it's like, are you a protein user? Yes or no? Are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker? You're trying to scope out, is your customer in your category? And then you go through that, kind of like process of, yes, you're a protein user. Yes, you're a coffee drinker or a tea drinker. And then it's like, okay, are you looking for a better way to increase your protein? Are you looking for a different application? Are you looking to make your life easier? So then you kind of like funnel them into that kind of concept of, yes, I am looking to make this easier. One of the things that we say at Allo is nutrition should be easy. It shouldn't be so complicated, right? We believe in that. And then as they progress through that funneling, they get to learn about the product, the utility, the quality of the protein. And then they come into the, oh, I'm going to try it. Let me try it now. So-and-so said it was good. I heard from my friend that they're using this now. Okay, so now they start becoming a user. Now we have to keep them interested, right? Because now they're already using the product. But a lot of what we're doing here at Allo is we're engaging with our current community. They're sharing recipes. They're sharing workouts. A workout has nothing to do with our direct CPG product. It doesn't. But we're able to give them value on, hey, are you looking for a quick 10-minute workout you can do in between your day? It's quick, it's free, it's easy. Let's show you. We're able to give them recipes that are easy and manageable. Right? And I use those words a lot because the concept behind the company is convenience, right? Everyone's busy, everyone's got work, families. So it's like, how can we make your life a little bit easier? And so once you are part of the Allo community, you'll find that we're going to be able to give you this information, not just from us, but from our community, of dietitians, fitness trainers, experts, wellness coaches. And together, it's like we're trying to make a better lifestyle for you and for us. And so that's how a lot of our community is growing. They're understanding that, okay, while this is a product, I'm getting recipes, I'm getting workout tips, I'm getting motivation, and those are all things that we need. So that's kind of how our process is here in Allo with our community.
It becomes that you're hosting the party, right? But the people that come kind of do their own thing and create their own atmosphere and what they engage with. So I love that. Let me switch it up a little bit, and to close off the episode, do you have a brand or a product that forever that just captured your intrigue, and maybe you saw it on an old TV commercial when we were young, and up to now you still have some sort of like emotional connection to? I can give you an example. Every time I see, I don't know if you're familiar with slush puppies, the little slushies that are on a white cup and the little puppy. I haven't had one for years, 20 years, but every time I see one, I'm like, my childhood, riding bikes with my friends and go in the summer and picking up a slush puppy.
That is a tough one. I have to think now. It's different because as a child, you look at things differently, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like as an adult, you look at things a little bit more responsibly and a little differently. I'm trying to think if there's, I'll be honest, and this goes completely against my entire vision of being in nutrition and health. But do you remember those rocket popsicles?
Yeah.
The white, the red, and the blue. That's nostalgic. That if I see that, I get happy seeing that, because that reminds me of my childhood. That reminds me at a time where I didn't look at the back of the nutritional packaging for how much sugar and calories are in things. But that is definitely a happy brand that did a great job in really, just sustaining that happy product concept. So yeah, for you, it might be slush puppies, but for me, it's definitely the rocket popsicle.
Would you like to add anything before we close up? Any campaigns that you're running? Any extra information that we didn't cover?
No, for sure. Thank you. Honestly, if you're looking, and to all the listeners, if you're looking to kind of, just bump up, your health and wellness, whether it's through your diet, whether it's through exercise, whether it's through eating better, there are ways. Don't be so intimidated by all of these things on Instagram where you see everyone like so muscle cut. It's not like that. Everyone starts somewhere. Take the time, the opportunity, especially with the new year coming. Take the time to make a few baby steps and then grow on those baby steps. And grow on those month after month, and you'll see that your progress is your win. And so don't just necessarily judge on what you're seeing on social media. Understand that everyone started at some baseline, so take your baseline today and start building on it, whether it's incorporating more protein, whether it's eating more at home, cooking more and eating out less, whether it's maybe a little bit more exercise per week. There's always room for improvement, and there's always room to grow. So I always tell people, just stay positive, make a few changes here and there and build on that. And I promise you'll be really proud of yourself and you'll feel a lot better too.
Well, thank you, Maya. This has been very fun for me, and I hope a lot of value for whoever's watching. Everybody go follow Allo Nutrition's socials, go shout them out and go try their product. And well, thank you for your time, Maya.
You got it. Thank you so much, Alex. It's nice chatting.
Nice chatting. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.